Remain vigilant regarding your sister. Do not treat these words as a casual warning or a fleeting impression. This is not born of human suspicion, nor is it an emotional reaction without weight. What you are receiving is not the echo of human concern, but a word straight from the throne of heaven. It is a divine alarm, a sacred trumpet sounding in the spiritual realm, a message too urgent to remain unspoken. An angel has been stirred to reveal what has remained hidden in the shadows. I speak to you now, beloved, not to provoke fear or distrust, but to unveil what has been concealed and to guard what has been divinely entrusted to you since before your first breath. Do not take this as mere advice, but as a key handed to you in a moment of fire, a revelation that could determine the difference between protection and devastation. You, who still sense the voice of heaven, who believe in divine intervention, who have refused to let your faith die despite the storms, hear this now. This is not the sound of paranoia or personal emotion. This is the voice of destiny speaking over your life. Heaven has been tracking your every step, collecting your tears, watching your sleepless nights, and the time to act has come. For the enemy has woven a plan quietly, a design of deception crafted away from the light. And in this plan, someone from within your own circle, a person tied to you by blood, has become an unwitting instrument. It is your sister. This revelation is not given to wound or divide, but to awaken, to ready you for what lies ahead. Heaven does not speak without purpose, and today, that purpose is preservation. Stay grounded, stay discerning, and let my wisdom guide your next steps. For this message is not a burden, it is a lifeline. Yes, it is the very one you still view through the gentle lens of childhood, the one you've silently protected, the one you've repeatedly defended, convinced that her intentions were always pure. But I, the one who searches the heart and perceives beyond outward appearances, tell you this: not everything that looks like love is rooted in truth, and not all that wears the garment of religion is free from hidden motives. The angel assigned to you has now stepped forward to deliver this word at a critical hour, just as what has been concealed begins to stir and surface. A scheme is unfolding quietly behind your back, shaped in secrecy, its motives having shifted without your notice. You still find comfort in familiar expressions, still trust in the sincerity of certain gestures, but I reveal to you now that those very things no longer carry the innocence they once held. This revelation is not given to break your heart, but to open your eyes. It is not meant to lead you to condemnation, but to alignment, to draw you into discernment, and to preserve what I have entrusted into your hands. Many of the delays and wounds you've endured came from placing trust in hearts no longer aligned with your calling, from clinging to what I have already instructed you to release, from covering what has quietly become an entryway for the adversary. Hear me now with undivided attention. Your sister is not operating alone. This is not a result of fleeting pain or a moment of weakness. It is part of a larger design. There is another, an older woman who wears the mask of righteousness, who uses spiritual language while harboring long-standing jealousy. She has taken the role of hidden influencer, speaking under the veil of counsel, guiding your sister in a direction not born of my spirit. Her methods are subtle, her tone composed, her words laced with false wisdom. She works not with loud defiance, but with soft manipulation, twisting what is sacred, crafting strategies with quiet precision. Not all poison is bitter. Sometimes it is delivered through the warmth of a hug, through a carefully spoken blessing, through words that mimic prayer but carry intention contrary to mine. Yet I, the everlasting God, I, your vigilant Father who guards your destiny while you rest, will not permit the enemy to overtake what I have assigned to your life. This is your moment to rise in wisdom, to stay anchored in me, and to allow my spirit to lead your every step from this point forward. I have dispatched the Archangel Michael on your behalf. His sword is drawn, his position secured between you and the betrayal that seeks to reach you. He is sealing off routes you once believed were yours to take. He is dismantling the strategy of darkness before it fully takes shape. He is illuminating spaces where deception once thrived in silence. But this divine intervention still requires your participation. I cannot carry out this protection without your alignment. You must respond swiftly to my voice. You must stop defending what I am now bringing into the light. What you've called loyalty has been rooted in denial. What you've labeled love is entangled in manipulation. What you thought was mercy has become silent agreement with destruction. I love you far too deeply to let you walk headfirst into disaster without sounding the alarm. I love you enough to bring this warning now before the heartbreak, before the fall, before the tears. I speak not with thunder, but with a heavenly strategy designed to save. That is why these words come now, with force and urgency, yet wrapped in mercy. Do not close your heart to this word. Do not shrug it off with, "It's just fear talking," where she could never do such a thing. Don't lean on phrases you've repeated to protect your peace while the enemy masks himself in false affection. This is not the hour for silence, it is the hour for sharp discernment. Open your spiritual eyes. Be unwavering. Evaluate the fruit, not the face. Don't call something a blessing when it's been poisoning your roots. Stay grounded, don't look away from this moment. This may be the final warning before consequences take hold that cannot be undone. I, the Lord your God, speak this word not to expose you to shame but to cover you with truth and shelter. Answer me with a humble heart, and I will turn this battlefield into a testimony of triumph. If only you will obey, if only you will surrender to the sound of my direction. My child, this is not just another word, it is a message saturated with eternity, a truth sealed with divine urgency, a revelation that can no longer wait to be spoken. What I am about to unveil to you goes beyond a mere caution, it is a divine command. This is a defining moment where destinies are cemented, and yours, my beloved child, is not subject to negotiation. I have not surrendered your future to human decision, to randomness, or to the judgment of those who cannot grasp the blueprint I intricately designed for you before your very first breath. My angels are already positioned, encircling you with precision and moving with purpose. A covering from heaven is descending now, cloaking your surroundings, sealing every opening where betrayal tried to slip through. A pure and radiant light my own now penetrates the places once dim, exposing the shadows where you once tolerated what should have been cast out, where you justified what should have been rebuked with courage. You pleaded for the truth, cried out to me in secret, asking for clarity when confusion wrapped around your heart like fog. You asked for eyes to see, and now I answer. This is the truth. Not easy, not soothing, but sacred. It is the response to your honest desperation. This is what you asked for in the dark hours, and now I shine it before you. Do not fall again into the arms of illusion. Do not let sentiment veil your vision. Your sister has chosen her path. She walked corridors unknown to you. She lent her ear to voices I did not send. She opened her heart to counsel tainted with jealousy and deception. And though your heart yearned to see only what was good, though you searched her gestures for glimpses of who she once was, I tell you now the grace window for this situation has closed. It is time for you to choose. Guard your heart, Listen to me. Stand in prayer. Move with discernment. What lies ahead is unlike anything you've known. It will not echo the pain of the past. It will be righteous, sacred, and undeniably yours, an inheritance marked by my hand alone, and none will be able to steal it. I declare it not from emotion or urgency, but from the authority of my eternal decree, and what proceeds from my mouth cannot be overturned. I do not speak without cause, nor do I issue warnings without divine purpose. So says the Lord, stay alert concerning your sister. Be discerning. Be gentle but resolute. For too long, you equated strength with silence, maturity with tolerating injury, and love with enabling what was harming you. In your sincere heart, you confused mercy with passivity, but now I call you to clarity. You believed it was virtuous to remain silent, to close your eyes and withhold your voice in the name of unity, to preserve relationships and maintain what appeared to be peace. But the peace you clung to was not my peace. It was a fragile ceasefire, crafted and manipulated by the enemy to keep you bound. It gave the appearance of stillness, but its foundations were hollow. You convinced yourself that staying quiet was an act of love, that overlooking warning signs was an act of faith. But I, your heavenly Father, come to speak now with both compassion and urgency. The kind of strength you adopted was not always rooted in my wisdom. Yes, there are moments when silence protects, when restraint is a shield. But there are also times when silence invites destruction, when it leaves your gates wide open to threats veiled in familiarity. And now, my son, you are standing in such a time. This is not a moment to keep your eyes closed. This is the hour to recognize what I have already seen, what my angels have documented, what my spirit has gently been revealing to you in the quiet moments you tried to dismiss. Think back to those nights your spirit stirred without cause, the dreams that unsettled you, the subtle tension in the air during family gatherings, the discomfort you tried to explain away when certain words were spoken or glances exchanged. What you labeled as confusion was really discernment, pure and unfiltered, rising within you before your understanding could catch up. Those were my messages, written in the language of sensitivity, in the stirrings of the spirit that still hears me. I stood at the door of your heart, knocking through inner restlessness, waiting for your spirit to turn toward me. And you did. You asked for clarity, and now I answer. No longer through symbols or silence, but with unmistakable truth. Today I remove the covering. Today I expose what has been quietly unfolding, not to incite bitterness or retaliation, not to harden your heart, but to equip you with spiritual vision, to prepare you for forward movement anchored in wisdom. Now is the time to walk not in impulse, but in divine precision, to follow the cadence of my spirit, not the rush of your emotions. My light does not come to destroy, it comes to realign, to illuminate the path that leads you back to your rightful place. And today, beloved child, I am realigning you. You are being repositioned, moved back into the space I originally prepared for you, a place the enemy will no longer be able to penetrate. Receive this word not with heaviness, but with hope. Take it not as condemnation, but as confirmation of my protective love. Heaven is speaking for you. Angels are actively shifting what you cannot yet see, and my voice remains true. I am the one who authored the work in you from the beginning. And no force, no history, no emotional tie, no matter how deep or familiar, can obstruct what I have decreed to bring to completion. Today, I am dismantling an invisible barrier that has restrained you for far too long, a structure that formed beneath the surface, camouflaged by your loyalty and emotional investment. This structure wasn't obvious to the natural eye, nor recognized by those near you. It was like a buried root, ancient and subtle, woven through years of emotional obligations, family expectations, and memories painted with affection, yet stained by manipulative alliances. What held you wasn't just physical, it was spiritual. It grew stronger every time you accepted a twisted version of love as truth, every time you mistook manipulation for care and jealousy for protection. That root was sown with seemingly kind words, but carried deep motives. It was watered with silence, masked by gestures that appeared harmless, cloaked in spiritual language, but fueled by a desire to influence and control your direction. On the surface, everything looked peaceful, but heaven saw the hidden strategies. Unseen pacts, spiritual entanglements, were reinforced each time you placed someone else's comfort above my calling on your life. I gave you assignments, spiritual ground to walk on, an inheritance designed for kingdom purpose. But with every moment you hesitated out of fear of confrontation, with every delay made to avoid offending others, you surrendered space meant to be occupied by my light and unknowingly allowed darkness to claim territory that was never its right. You were not formed to remain tethered to things I have already removed from your path. You are not meant to hold together bridges I, myself, am in the process of dismantling. Certain relationships, once sources of blessing, have now become channels of interference. What no longer aligns with my spirit will, in time, uncover its true essence. The light of my presence reveals what has been hidden, not to condemn but to liberate, not to bring shame but to usher in truth and lasting freedom. You have carried the burden of expectations that never came from me. They were demands born of broken hearts, from people who saw your rise and secretly feared losing their grip on your choices. Some of these individuals, yes, even one who shares your blood, struggled to celebrate your transformation, and instead retreated into quiet manipulation, sowing subtle questions about what I've called you to build in reverence and obedience. Their words were veiled, their motives wrapped in kindness, their advice delivered with double edges. It was a war waged without open fire, a quiet campaign against your clarity and conviction. But I have watched, and I have whispered through the stillness. Even in moments when confusion clouded your understanding, I planted fragments of discernment to keep you grounded. On days when emotions were unstable, I steadied you with truths too deep to fully grasp at the time. And though ties of familiarity still tried to redefine love as silent endurance, hear me now. True love does not require you to submit to hidden sabotage. Forgiving is not the same as permitting. Maintaining peace does not mean tolerating what is evil. A spiritual boundary is being drawn now, a sacred separation that flows not from bitterness, but from obedience to my order. This is not a call to natural confrontation, but a summons to take your rightful place in the spirit. Where once your heart was swayed by emotional manipulation disguised as loyalty, now you will walk with eyes wide open. What once pulled on your conscience will no longer hold sway. The tears you cried in solitude, torn between your instinct to protect and your call to obey, were never overlooked. I gathered each drop as a sacred offering before my throne. Every tear became the seed of a coming season. No more blurred lines, no more wavering. The mantle of divine clarity now resting on your life grants you permission to end what must be ended without shame, to draw lines without hesitation, to choose rightly without questioning if you've missed the mark, for I have already gone before you and settled it. I have opened a door that no hand can shut. I've safeguarded a portion meant only for you, untouched by impure agendas. And though your choices may baffle others, though some will mislabel your boundaries as cold or unfaithful, know this: I, the Lord, will stand as your advocate. No voice of opposition, no human opinion will be able to stop the unveiling of what I have set in motion. What's ahead is just. What's unfolding is divinely sanctioned, and none will be able to claim credit for what I'm about to make visible. Release yourself from the weight of guilt others try to hang on your shoulders. That guilt does not originate from me. That whisper of accusation is not the echo of my spirit. What I declare over you now is liberty, precision, and spiritual calibration. It is the decisive break from every attachment that did not begin in my will. My presence will be your assurance, and what once felt like loss, what seemed shattered when you pulled away from those who dishonored your process, will re-emerge in a pure form. Untainted, unmixed, unclouded. I am moving not only because of what surrounds you, but because of the deep, inner shift that is now complete. A cycle of internal refinement has reached its conclusion, and such completion demands a separation. So my full purpose in you may now emerge. What you once tolerated is now misaligned with the weight of glory I am calling you to carry. This shift involves more than people, it involves realms. There are settings that no longer harmonize with the anointing I've stirred within you. There are interactions and responses that once served you, but now they are incompatible with the new spiritual architecture I am forming in you. You have pressed forward through burdens, through the hush of opposition, through emotional weights that tried to slow your steps. But what I am now anchoring in your life demands spiritual precision. It demands that you advance without hesitation, that you walk forward without requiring affirmation from those who never grasped your essence. There is no longer space for divided hearts or attachments posing as loyalty. The place I am taking you cannot be accessed carrying the weight of unnecessary emotional residue. So do not let voices from yesterday dictate how you obey today. Do not shrink back in fear that others will call you heartless when you are, in truth, answering a divine summons. Understanding is not the requirement I asked for your faithfulness, not for consensus. A shift is already underway, though it may feel as if everything on the outside remains unchanged. That sensation of stillness while your spirit quietly evolves is part of my refining process. I am shaping an inner core within you, a realm of unwavering conviction where my word outweighs every human judgment and outlasts every fleeting opinion. In that sacred space, confusion has no access, for only my voice speaks. It is from that foundation your next moves will emerge: new alignments, deeper connections, divine arrangements. Everything not rooted in this transformation will naturally fade. You don't have to orchestrate the departures or sever the ties. I will bring to pass a divine separation, gentle, yet final. You will begin to notice certain rooms losing their pull, dialogues that once brought comfort now feeling burdensome. You'll find yourself physically present, yet spiritually distant, not from arrogance, but because the spiritual atmosphere no longer matches the call on your life. That quiet dissonance is not rejection, it's preservation. It is a signal that your spirit has been elevated, tuned to a divine frequency where only what echoes eternity remains. The unfamiliar stillness, the inexplicable silence, is confirmation. I am repositioning you. You're not growing colder, you're awakening to a new awareness of what truly carries my breath. This is not emotional fragility, it is heaven-breathed sensitivity. I am sharpening your spiritual discernment. No longer will you see through the filter of past pain or lingering guilt. You will now view through the lens of truth and clarity. I am empowering you to identify without revisiting the ache, to perceive without reopening the wound. You do not need to relive old suffering to confirm what I have already brought into the light. Within you, I have placed the ability to see beyond the surface, to discern the root beneath the fruit. And as my spirit intensifies in your life, you will begin to sense the spiritual weight behind common interactions. What once felt acceptable will now stir discomfort. What you previously defended out of habit, you will now recognize as spiritual distraction. This isn't harshness, it is refined perception. From now on, I will establish a barrier not of isolation, but of divine discernment. It will be an unseen safeguard over your spirit. Not all who journeyed with you will stay beside you, and not all who spoke kindly will be permitted access to your deepest places. But fear not, this is not loss. Every subtraction will lead to divine addition. Every remove of presence will create space for something forged by my hand, pure, untainted, and birthed through obedience. Even if the choices ahead appear extreme to those around you, they are simply the visible echoes of a meticulous, heaven-orchestrated movement. This is not about conflict, it is about clarity. This is not a fracture, it is the healing of a foundation. The path opening before you will be quieter in noise but deeper in spiritual demand. Yet, it will also bear greater fruit, usher in enduring peace, and invite genuine alignment. In this new season, you will come to recognize my voice with heightened accuracy, not out of panic or confusion, but through a calm only I can bestow. It will not hinge on external validation, familial approval, or collective understanding. It will stand firm in the assurance that your feet are on the path I, the Sovereign One, have chosen for you. You no longer need to explain yourself to those who weren't present in your secret place of revelation. What I whispered to your spirit in private now becomes your compass, and that alone is enough. The transformation I'm unfolding within you is not dependent on the perception of those who only see what is visible. What I've been crafting deep inside your spirit is not about surface-level impressions, but about the eternal weight of glory produced through seasons of surrender, quiet endurance, and hidden obedience. Many of your most defining moments were never witnessed by men, only heaven recorded them. The inner sacrifices, the yes you gave me when no one else knew the cost, the nights you chose faith over convenience, these unseen offerings laid the groundwork for the new dimension now manifesting. This season is not rooted in fear of loss, but in the confidence of what heaven has irrevocably spoken over your life. You are no longer required to prop up expired assignments. There is no need to keep pouring your heart into ties that once served purpose, but now hinder movement, not due to malice, but because they are out of sync with heaven's current rhythm for you. Some alignments were bridges but not destinations. Trying to carry them forward becomes weight, not wisdom. I am now opening a way that demands spiritual lightness, a journey that cannot accommodate extra burdens. And this is not solely about individuals, but about thought systems, soul ties to old narratives, and emotional compromises you made to preserve peace while your purpose starved. That inner belief that you had to diminish your presence to avoid disrupting others, that shrinking your shine was humility, I am dismantling that with my truth. Your enlargement is not arrogance, it's your assignment. The expansion I've ordained is not man-made achievement, it is heaven's decree being fulfilled. What will soon radiate from you is not pride, it's the evidence of my hand upon you. Don't water down what I've birthed just to be accepted in rooms where my voice no longer echoes. The shape that once fit now restricts. The vocabulary of past seasons cannot carry the revelation of what I am doing now. I've recalibrated your sound, given you a new tongue, and filled your spirit with a fresh expression of my power. What flows from you next will not mimic the old, it will carry the unmistakable imprint of the divine. Even if others become uneasy or respond with resistance, You are not responsible for reshaping yourself to accommodate their comfort. What they're reacting to is not your attitude, it's the transformation I am producing within you. I'm drawing clear lines, dissolving compromise, and separating what is sacred from what was tolerated. The fire I've placed inside you is doing more than refining your inner being, it's purifying the spaces around you, and that kind of purification always brings disruption. Don't misinterpret the quiet exits or the unexplained distance of those who once stood close. It is not failure, it is confirmation. What you carry now carries weight, and my presence does not allow for mixture. Those who once felt aligned may now feel displaced, not because you've turned your back, but because I've turned the page. The spiritual climate around you has changed, and where there is divine clarity, anything inconsistent with it will begin to fall away, not by your force, but by my order.